young chap. And Umar radiallahu anhu is touching 60s, and he's in 30s, or maybe he's in 50s, yeah, he's maybe 18. Because when Prophet ﷺ passed away, he was 30. When Abu Bakr Siddiq passed away, he was 60. And then Umar came, and he came for 10 years. And during that time, 10 years, so that child is 16-year-old. And they're big, amazing senior Sahaba. And Umar is saying, Abbas, Ibn Abbas, what do you think? Why? What made him special? Anyone? Because he had the knowledge. He had the knowledge. So even though the seniors are sitting, Ibn Abbas was asked. Even though the seniors are sitting, Ibn Abbas was asked. Because, and he says, he had the eagerness from very young age. A very famous hadith he narrates. It's in Muslim, hadith in Muslim, that when I migrate to Medina Munawwara, so they embrace faith in Makkah. When they migrate to Medina, it was before Prophet ﷺ's departure, 3 years before departure. 3 years before departure. So that means he was 10-year-old. When he moved to Medina with his father Abbas, he was 10-year-old. So one day he went to his auntie Khala, Maimuna radiallahu anha, and he said to her that I want to come and spend the night in your house. Khala is mom's sister. So he went there and said, I want to spend a night in your house. He said, you can come any night, except today. She said, Ibn Abbas said, why not today? He said, tonight the Prophet ﷺ is coming to my house. It's my turn. So he said, that's the only point, and that's the whole reason I'm asking. I want to be in the house while he is inside. A 10-year-old, imagine a 10-year-old. And today, except you guys are mashallah genius. Except you guys, the 10-year-old cannot even think beyond ice cream and donuts, beyond the games and video games, our football. They can't even think beyond that. So 10-year-old is saying, okay, so then she says, if that's the case, I have to ask permission. I have to take permission from Prophet. So she took permission from Prophet and it was being granted. So later on, Ibn Abbas says, I was pretending that I was sleeping. I was in his house, pretending I was sleeping, but I want to observe how he's going the night. A 10-year-old or 11-year-old child, see the IQ and the understanding he has. And he says, I was pretending to sleep and I was observing Prophet ﷺ what he was doing in the night. After a short break, he woke up and he standing there. And he says, first thing, as soon as he woke up, he wiped his eyes. So it's sunnah. When you woke up, you should wipe your eyes. So this is who is narrating 10-year-old child. And these 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old, they are the best observers. They have a photographic memory and they observe every single dot. It says the Prophet ﷺ has wiped his eyes. And then he read the ayat, Inna fi khalq as-samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil layl. Which part it is? Fourth part. And end of his surah? Ali Imran. And it is an amazing virtue, those who read Inna fi khalq as-samawati wal ardi wa ikhtilafil layl. Which, can you Google it? You might find the hadith. It says, if whoever reads Inna fi khalq as-samawati wal ardi after Isha, it is amazing virtue. It's the last ruku, small ruku. So the Prophet ﷺ woke up and he read the Inna fi khalq as-samawati. And then he did wuzu, and Prophet ﷺ's wuzu doesn't break while sleeping. When we sleep, our wuzu breaks. And Prophet ﷺ's wuzu doesn't break due to sleep. Did you know that? Huh? When we sleep, our wuzu is broken. Prophet's wuzu doesn't break due to sleep. Anyone can tell the hikmah, wisdom behind it? Because he is being controlled during the while he's awake, while he's sleeping. The Prophet ﷺ don't have any kind of ghafla. Ghafla means negligence. He's fully aware what is happening. When we are in sleep, you're not aware what's happening. So if we release the wind, we don't know. Why we do wuzu? Okay, let's talk about it. Why do we have to do wuzu once we wake up? Why does sleep break the wuzu? Shafiq? Yes. In case you have released the wind and you might not know and you're not aware of it, and that's why you do wuzu. So Prophet ﷺ is aware even during the sleep, and that is why his sleep does not break the wuzu. Subhanallah. This was one of his unique things. And you know the excrete Prophet ﷺ, he used to be swallowed by earth straight. Used to be swallowed by earth straight. And everyone's excrete is napak. The excrete of Prophet ﷺ is pak. His sweat used to have the amazing smell and fragrance more than the misk. Anas radiallahu ta'ala and his family members, he says that once Prophet ﷺ was sleeping in our house, so what I did, I went and it was sweating, and it was hot day and he was sweating. So I collected his sweat. And he says that whenever we used to apply that sweat, it used to be better than the musk. Better than the musk. So, however, why we came to this point? So he started reading his Tahajjud. Abdullah ibn Abbas says, I thought this is a good time for me to join Islam, join the Salah. Because he was afraid if he would have woke up with Prophet ﷺ, would have said, go to sleep. You're a young man, you need to sleep. You know, that's what happened. When we are trying to be awake during the nights, so mom and dad, what they tell us, go to sleep. You need to sleep. You have to sleep. So he was afraid that Prophet ﷺ would force him to go to sleep. So he was waiting until he started Salah. The moment he started Salah, the Prophet Abdullah ibn Abbas stood up and he came and stand next to Prophet ﷺ, and he stand next to the left side. He stand next to Prophet ﷺ left side. Okay, when Imam is leading Taraweh in Salah and you are one person standing behind, where should you stand, the right or left? When Imam is leading Salah and you are one person reading behind, where should you stand, right or left or behind? Right? Everyone? So he said, I stood on the left. So during the namaz, Prophet ﷺ brought his hand towards him and dragged him towards the right. See, this is how he is describing the moment. And that's why the young age, people say, they're too young to be taught, too young to be taught, or you're too young to be told. No, they're not young. This is the time they are reforming and transforming. And if they transform now, for a lifetime, they will have this habit. Those boys, mashallah, who are doing 20 rakats Tarawih, even they are 8, 9, 10, 11. Amazing. Hats off for them. Because this is the time you are building your other routine habit. If you end up holding a routine of walking around the masjid, I don't think so. Maybe it will take 10, 15 years to realize to come back this time. You will have lost all those 10, 15 years. That's why you should not. When there's a playing time, they can enjoy. When there's a salah time, we should be firm, because this is time we have to mend, modify, transform. And that's enough us. A 13, 10-year-old child is studying Prophet ﷺ. And his salah was not like us. One side a rakat, one side a rakat, one side a rakat. He used to start Surah Baqarah, then Ali Imran, then Ma'idah, and carrying on 6, 7 paras. 6, 7 farmers. Tahajjud, because it was his private salah, private time. So when he was privately, he used to read long Qur'ans. So the reason I was mentioning Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, at a very young age, he has turned his youth into such a valuable moment of his life that Umar radiallahu anhu, who was a ruler and king and Khalifa, he used to take advice from. Okay, so where is that? Where you send? WhatsApp. Okay, yeah, I found it. So he mentions the hadith. عن عائشة رضي الله عنها قالت لما كان ليلة من ليالي رسول الله عائشة ذريني أتعبد الله بربي ولا أعبد شكورا نجيب إليه سبب إن في خلق السماوات when I love to close to me, I love to see the visions to be in the prayer, the mouse talking until this is mouse. So the virtue of reading in the fiqh al-Islam, the virtue of reading in the fiqh al-Islam. So Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu, he turned his youth into a valuable hero, and subhanallah, and he was used to be asked by Umar radiallahu anhu, what is your opinion? So young boys, today you have this time, this moment, and you have to turn this moment into a valuable moment. And that's why some of you, alhamdulillah, have been given the tawfiq and ability to come and participate and sit in the masjid and to do ibadah. These moments, the day when I was teaching this class of Rayyan Rashid and Daniel Ashif, and these boys, when I was teaching them, I said, alhamdulillah, today is the weekend, that's why the young boys can come to the masjid. And in many Islamic countries, Ramadan has it is off time from schools, there is no schools. So when we were 13, 14, we didn't have a school. And when we didn't have a school, so we used to go to Haram, because we used to live in Medina, Jeddah. So we used to go to Medina Munawwara. So my 13, 14, 15, 16, these years, the last 10 nights used to be in Medina Munawwara. And there were hundreds and thousands of people doing i'tikaf. And one night of i'tikaf takes you away 3 trenches away from Jahannam. And each size of trench is the bigger than the distance between heaven and earth. So my young friends, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the tawfiq, and Allah has given the opportunity to you. Back this opportunity, as Mawlana mentioned, that 7 people will get honored to stand under the shade throne of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the day of Qiyamah. Amongst them, one is young man who worships. Because when you are young, you have passions, you have desires, you have power, and sometimes you have money. When you're 24, 25, 27, 29, 30, you have money. And all the avenues of sins are open to you. Wherever you go. If you go to college, plenty avenues of sin. If you go to uni, plenty avenues of sin. Every Saturday, every Friday. Your schoolmates, your classmates will say, today we are going to such and such place, such and such club, and such and such place, or such a friend house. The party is happening, party is taking place. And normally what happens in party? Music, dance, womanizing girls. And subhanallah, with all those avenues, you choose to be in the masjid. You chosen to be in reading the Taraweh. Imagine how much Allah will be pleased. Who has stopped? By own choice. No one is forcing you. By own choice. This kind of judgment and this kind of decision will bring a great reward and virtue in your life. And this is how you become a great person. You know that no one becomes a great person overnight. No one becomes a great person overnight. No one becomes a great sheikh, a great leader, great muhaddis, great mufassir, great practicing person overnight. Every year, something is added, and the day comes when you become like Ibn Abbas. A senior person will be respecting you because of your knowledge. A senior person will be standing for you because of your knowledge. Because you hold the Quran. Because you hold the understanding of the Quran. Imam Malik, he was teaching Sabah. King Harun al-Rashid. Imam Malik was teaching Sabah in Medina. King. And his kingdom was bigger than Umar while he was king. So, Harun al-Rashid came. So, Imam Malik stood up out of respect of the ruler Khalifa, asked him to sit here in his masjid, in the same place where he was sitting, sit and study. He honored him. Then the Harun al-Rashid said, Hazrat, I am here to learn hadith. He said, Hazrat, I am here to learn hadith. So then Imam Malik says, if you want to learn hadith, then you have to stand up from here and sit with the rest of them. Because when the hadith of Rasulullah is being taught, it has to be taught in a manner where the way the Prophet was teaching and also how they can sitting in front of them. So when you're a student, then you don't have any privilege because there is no better privilege than the being a student. There is no better honor than being a student. That's the highest profession, better than the ruler, better than the Khalifa. Because you are the student of hadith of Rasulullah. And then Imam Malik rahimahullah taught him. So Harun al-Rashid was a very pious man. He was the ruler, king, and even though he was a king, during the normal days, during the normal days, he used to read 500 rakahs. 500 rakahs during the normal days. No. That was the practice of Harun al-Rashid, king, ruler. Harun al-Rashid. And I'll conclude with one of the incident happened. In his time, there was a person called Bahul. Bahul was his name. Majnoon. What's Majnoon mean? Anyone? Majnoon. Huh? Kya hai? Crazy guy. Crazy guy. Mad person. His name was Bahul. Crazy guy, mad person. Why? His cloth was untidy. His hair was always not being mended, and he used to live in jungles. No, he doesn't like to live in city. He didn't have any house. Walking about wherever he sits down. Wherever he used to act like a crazy person, but in reality, he was a pious person. He didn't love dunya. He hated dunya. And he hated the people as well. Logon se bhi nafrat karte. He said, people say, why don't you live in the city? Why you live in jungle? He said, I live in the city. I don't like to live in the city because I found the people just as scorpion and snakes. They don't do anything but bite. What he said? I found the people that they are just a scorpion and snakes. They don't do anything but bite. Talk about you. That's why I don't want to live there. I want to live in jungle. Aram se. Bahul Majnun rahmatullah alayh, he was sitting and playing with the sand. So his wife, Harun al-Rashid's wife, was passing by. Zulaykha, very famous lady. And she was rich and she was very generous. So she built the river from Iraq all the way to Makkah. So every Haji who is going to Makkah, they can have water wherever they stop. She made it possible. She dig the river all the way from Iraq to Makkah. Very too rich. So Bahul Majnun, first Harun she was passing by. She said, Bahul, what are you doing? He said, I'm making palace in Jannah. He is drawing on the floor. He's drawing on the sand. So you Behlul, क्या कर रहे हो? I'm making house in Jannah. Do you want to buy? He said, Harun Rashid left. He thought it was a joke, he left. His wife was passing by. He said, Behlul, क्या कर रहे हो? What are you doing? He said, I'm building a palace in Jannah. Do you want to buy? He said, how much? 10 dirhams. Here you go. Harun Rashid goes home. At night he sees a dream. Massive palace in Jannah. Belongs to who? His wife. How? The one she made a transaction to Banu Majnun, 10 pounds. Next day he runs to Behlul. He says, Behlul, take my whole wealth and give me that palace. He said, now the point is, the Behlul says, because now you have seen. What he says? Now it's no point, because now you have seen it. Even that Behlul knew that he have seen in a dream that palace. This deal was before seeing it. And you know that we haven't seen Akhirah, but we believe in Akhirah without seeing it. So he said the deal was without seeing to believe I am building a palace in Jannah. And you lost the deal. Your wife took it, she got it. He was Behlul, Ajib aadmi tha Behlul. And one day he was passing. Harun Rashid was passing by. Harun Rashid was again. He met Behlul. So whenever he used to see Behlul, he used to become happy and he wants to speak to him and talk to him, because Behlul was a straightforward, honest person. Speak of his heart to the face. So he said, "Oh Behlul, this is my staff, stick. Keep it with you. If you," he was trying to make a mockery of him. Joke. He said, "If you find a more stupid someone, then you give it to them." Yeah, what he did? He had a stick, so he gave it to Behlul. Hold it until you find someone who's more way of stupid. Then you be foolish. Give it to them. After a few days, he was ill. Harun Rashid was ill. So Behlul came. He said, Harun Rashid, how are you doing? It seems my time has come. What have you prepared? Nothing. Harun Rashid says, nothing much. I haven't prepared anything for the life hereafter. So this guy, Behlul, he brings a stick and give it back to the Harun Rashid. So what does it say? He said, this is a stick you told me. If you find someone foolish than you, give it to them. That's you. He said, what do you mean? He says, whenever you travel Makkah, Medina, any part of the world, you used to have 10 chefs, 100 camels, 100 horses, so much luggage. You always prepared one caravan, second caravan, third caravan, and the fourth one you used to be, fifth one, sixth one. You used to be prepared, well prepared, 100 chefs. All these guys used to travel with you. This was the journey of dunya. You were so prepared. When you knew there is a journey of Akhirah, the final destiny, final abode, you're not prepared. You're a foolish man. Take a step back. Take a step back. So this was Behlul. They were, Majzoob means that they're not bothered of dunya. They're not bothered of people, what they say. They don't bother what people think about them. They don't dictate their life because of the sayings and statements and thoughts of the people. They used to live for nothing else. And sometimes, these kind of people, they become so detached from dunya. Small sip of water used to help them to last 3, 4 days, 7 days, 8 days. But we can't do it because we are normal people. That is something extreme. Not extreme. They have reached that level. I'll give you another example. Ibrahim ibn Adham. Have you heard this name? He was a king, ruler. This story is real life stories. It's not a joke. Or made up stories, real life stories. Ibrahim ibn Adham. He was the king of the time. So every single day, olden days, the rulers, they had a leisure. The luxury life. Oh, see the castles in olden times, and they see the houses today we build. Yeah, even with all technology, our houses are vicharas. They didn't have any technology. See the castles they used to build it. We pay 10, 15 pounds just to go and visit those castles, which they have been built at like 50, 100, 200, 300 years ago. So the king, Ibrahim ibn Adham, when he used to come back to his bed every single day, a fresh lay of roses used to be laid on his bed. Can you imagine what a luxury life? Fresh roses is laid on the bed. He comes and sleeps on those roses every single day. The lady who used to put those roses, one day she thought, every day I put the roses on the bed. What a feeling, what good feeling could be to sleep on the roses. Let me try. The king is not back yet. Let me try for a few moments lying on the bed. So she lied down on the bed. King appears. Oi! What are you doing? Lying on my bed. And in all this whip, boom, boom, smacking the lady. She started crying, and then she started smiling. So he said, I understand you cried. Why did you smile? So that lady said one word. Those kings had a life heart. They used to take lessons from it. The lessons you will get, if you are sincere, you will find the lessons everywhere in the life. And if you're not sincere, even in masjid, you won't get the guidance. You won't get the guidance. If you are sincere, you will get the guidance in the shop, in the market. So this person, she would say, why did you cry? So she said, the reason I cried, I thought I slept for a moment and I got smacked 5 times. I slept for a moment, I got smacked 5 times. The guy who is sleeping on the bed for ages, how many times he will get smacked? Understood? So what she's saying, I slept for 5 minutes, I got being hit for 5 times. The guy, he is a king, who's been sleeping on this bed for ages, and he's been sleeping for ages on this bed, how many times Allah will hit him? How many times Allah will hit him? So the king started thinking, oh, she's right. Just the luxuries. I have forgotten Allah. I have forgotten the Akhirah. Finally, about Jannah, I have forgotten everything. She's right. I'm just in the luxuries, enjoying the life. I have detached myself from the Akhirah. So the king says, start thinking, what shall I do? How shall I fix my life? How shall I fix my life? These lessons I'm sharing with you, not so that you don't attempt these things. Don't attempt these things, but take a lesson from it. So the king said, start thinking. And when you start thinking sincerely to find the right person, the right friend, a right way, a guided way from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah always guides you. Because He knows your heart. If you have intention, Allah always guides you. If you want to protect yourself from the wrong people, Allah will always protect you. If you want to protect yourself from the sin, Allah will always protect you. If you want to keep yourself away from the haram, from the booze, from the drinks, and from the womanizing and girls, Allah will protect you. If you want to. Otherwise, there is always excuses. Mona, what can I do? She comes and sits next to me. She invites me there. The excuse is always there. So then he's scratching his head. While sitting on the throne, scratching his head. How can I get my Allah back? So suddenly he hears a noise from the roof. He says, Bhai, who's on the roof? So like if someone, one of your houses, if someone's on the roof, you're all in shock. Who's on the roof? He said, who's on the roof? They got a guy from the roof, a Bedouin. He said, what are you doing upstairs on the roof? He said, I have lost my camel. I have lost my camel, I'm looking for it. So the king says, are you mad? How can you find a camel on the roof? So then the guy, the Bedouin says, are you mad? How can you find Allah in his luxuries? That was angels. That was not Bedouin. Because he had a concern, Allah sent the angel. He said, you want to find Allah with all these luxuries? You won't get Allah. You have to struggle for it. He was scratching his head, got answer. During the night, he disappeared. In the morning, everyone is looking for king, Kange, where is the king, where is the ruler, where is the king? He's gone. He disappeared into jungles. Overnight, he left everything. Overnight, he left everything. Those people who say they can't leave bad company or bad habit, no, you can. Just need a courage. Overnight, he left everything. He left the kingdom. He left the ruling. He was a ruler. Subhanallah. After a few years or months, his ministers were passing. And they found Ibrahim ibn Adam sitting on the beach and sewing something. So Hazrat, oh, king, what are you doing here? You should be in the palace. We are looking for you from ages. Come on, let's go. Why? What happened to you? How come you left such a great kingdom and sitting on the beach and sewing something? He didn't answer. He didn't reply. He didn't reply by word. He replied by action. He didn't reply by word. He replied by action. So whatever he was sewing, he dropped that needle in the water. And then he said, oh, the makhluk of the creation of the ocean and the water, can you please return me the needle? Please return me the needle. So few fishes came and they were all holding a needle, a golden needle. He had a normal needle. They were holding a golden needle. So he said, no, I want my needle, the one I dropped. So then the one fish came, he was holding the needle. And he didn't say a word to them. Then he said, he looked over them. Indirectly, he's saying to them, which kingdom are you talking about? That kingdom or this kingdom? Which is better? He says, those who give themselves to Allah, Allah made the whole creation obedient to them. It happens in Sahaba's time. It happened in Sahaba time. A Sahabi, they want to cross the Samandar, ocean, to get into Iran or Iraq. To get into the Persian lives in Iraq, yeah? So Iran. Iraq maybe, same, not too far from each other. So in that area they want to get into. And when these people find out the Sahabas are coming, so what they did, they burned all the ships. So no one can cross it. A Sahabi called Sa'd ibn Waqqas, or one of the Sahabi, I forget that, I can't recall the name. If anyone wants to know, yaad hai? Sahabi. So this Sahabi wants to cross the river. So he turned to the people. He said, in that people, they were not all Sahabi. There were some Sahaba, there were some non-Sahaba. So he said to them, is there anyone who have committed major sin? Major sin is lying, eating haram, backbiting, this kind of sin. Yeah. Is there anyone here who have purposely committed major sin? The whole army said none. He said, then Allah's help is with us, don't worry, just follow me. He says, just follow me. And he said, Bismillahi Allahu Akbar, and riding his horse on the ocean. And they cross it. And these Iranis, when they were thinking as normal, that they burn the ships. And they're seeing these guys are walking on the water with their horses. So they say, it says in the book of history, Dev Anand. What does it mean? Gods are coming. Arabic. They thought these guys are gods. Because who can walk on the water? By only Allah's permission you can only do it, otherwise you can't. So this is why, alhamdulillah, we have gathered today to turn our heart to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to dedicate our life. Your youth is very important. You will make decisions now, and Allah will make your destiny out there. There is a time for you to do tawbah. When you are young, people say, you're too young to keep the beard. You're too young to read namaz. You're too young to stand up and wake up in the Fajr for Fajr Salah. But you make these sacrifices now, Allah will make your destiny out there. Imam Bukhari, he was 9 when he wrote the first book. First journey. And he was 11, I think, he wrote the first book, Imam Bukhari. First book. So do never underestimate you, what Allah has decided for you. If you stick on the plan, if you stay away from the haram, Allah has a great plan for you. And He will take a great work from you. Because when Allah wants to spread the guidance, if I want to distribute this water, I need someone or myself to go and give it to someone. It won't go itself. It will go itself. Someone has to deliver it. If you make intentions now, Allah have to guide the ummah. He will use you as a delivery person. As a delivery person who is guiding others. And similarly, there are people who spread the mischief. Because Allah has two qualities, Hadi and Dal. He is the one who guides the people and He is the one who takes the people away from the path. So, according to His quality, He will take the people away from the path, those who are not interested. But He has to use someone. So, He uses those people who want to spread the ill. He will use them to spread the evil. So it's good, Allah has chosen us for goodness. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq. Mona is saying that if we can start at 1 o'clock Qiyamul for half an hour, Mona Abdul Mannan Sahib will read Surah Al-Kahf or Surah Al-Kahf. से पढ़ने वाले हैं ये मौलाना मन्नान साहब भी पढ़ सकता सूर्य यासीन पढ़ लेंगे इंशाल्लाह सूर्य यासीन सूरह क़यामुल लैल में and 1 o'clock will start सूरह क़यामुल लैल half an hour inshallah. Okay, and then pizzas Hafiz Iftikhar and a few brothers, they have organized some pizzas and burgers for you guys, and obviously needed both kind of buzz, the spiritual and the food. Yes, any questions? Any questions before we call a day? कुछ किया बोला? Yeah. It's coming? How far it is? It's on the way back. She's better to eat first then. And then burp during the salah. Yeah. This is, it only happened in Ramadan. It's all burps. Yeah. Ramadan. This is the unique things of Ramadan. Any questions? Jay Safid, any questions? No? All good? Either explain too well or you didn't understand anything. Faisal bhai, all good? Yeah.
अभी बैठ के इंडिविजुअल अपना जिक्र कर ले यानी इबादत में लग जाए फिर
Mona is saying that we can keep ourselves busy in our individual ibadah for a few minutes. While those who are in i'tikaf, even though you are in i'tikaf, try to stay inside the four walls of the masjid and keep yourself busy in ibadat. Ibadat is Quran, zikr, salah, and talking greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, listening to the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The reason we sit in the i'tikaf is to detach ourselves from dunya, attach ourselves with Allah. And if while sitting in the i'tikaf we start again the games and other hot topics, then it's no point sitting in i'tikaf. We will lose the purpose of sitting in i'tikaf, but however we will still benefit. Whatever, even the small thing we do smallest thing we do of goodness always benefit. Even you say Allah, Allah with complete negligence, it will still benefit. It will still benefit. It will still benefit. Why? If someone swears, one word, swearing to your mom, your dad, your sister, you will react. It's just a word. Why do you react? Exactly same. Allah is the most powerful word. Even you say by negligence, it will affect you. It will affect you. And that's why we do zikr every single day. After Fajr we do zikr. And when we do zikr loudly, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, this is the cure remedy. This is not the sunnah practice of Prophet ﷺ in his time. It is just like in madrasa. In madrasa, there was no madrasa in Prophet ﷺ's time. But we have a system today. We have school, we have madrasa. A child comes, none of them understand Arabic, and they sit, and then they say, Alhamdulillah, 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 keep revising, keep memorizing. And this is how they memorize it. So this is how today there's so much filth of dunya around you, in your phone, in your gadgets, everywhere, so much dunya. So you need to say La ilaha illallah loudly so your heart can hear. Because for 24/7, your ear and the heart hears all the talk of dunya, nothing about Allah. So you say La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. And when you say, you need to think. You need to create a devotion. How to create a devotion? The ulama says you need to think. When you say La ilaha, you have to think. Oh Allah, I'm taking out everything else from my heart. Illallah, except you. And if you do 100 times like this, and then you read 2 rakats, you will find the difference. Because before this, maybe your salah is Allahu Akbar, which you read with Imam, Allahu Akbar. So you, as soon as the Imam say Allahu Akbar, your flight departs. London, LA, Toronto, Pakistan, India, and as soon as Imam says Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, you land. Your flight lands. But after zikr, you will stay, your flight straight goes to the heaven. Allah. This is why the zikr is very important. Zikr will create the power in your salah. So just a few minutes, inshallah, we do food, and after food, I think half
20 past, half past.
20 past and half past. As soon as you hear one of the Mannan's voice in the mic, then you know that the Qiyamul Layl has begun. Okay? Inshallah. Subhanallah.